We've had lots of news of mass killings recently. The one in Texas that killed, that ended the life of 19 people. No, 21. I'm sorry, 21 people in Uvalde, Texas. And before that, we had the one in Buffalo that took the lives of 10 people. The one in Uvalde particularly egregious because 19 of the victims were children. And then this morning, I hear about the deaths of 50 people trying to sneak across the United States border to come into this country. The first two mass killings, the one in Uvalde, one in Buffalo, involved the gun. This last one, the one this morning where 50 people died, not a shot was fired. It was all because of bad U.S. policy. And I have a theory about that. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. This is Keith. Welcome to the Ghetto Sapien channel, your home of inner city intelligence. So, the deaths of the 50 people this morning, I mean, it's awful. What a terrible way to go. It was very hot in Texas, and apparently what happened was the cartels, who are just making tons of money every week with the fentanyl coming across the border, and then you have human trafficking where people are paying thousands of dollars just to cross the wide open U.S. border. Well, correction, because I've said this before. There's no such thing as an open border wherever you have a disparity of resources. When you have, on one side, you have poverty, and on the other side, you have promises of wealth and prosperity. Someone's going to control the passage of, someone's going to control who gets through that border. It's either going to be the United States or whatever country, or it's going to be the cartels. In this case, it's the cartels. The cartels control our southern border because under the Biden administration, they've completely given up. So cartels charge thousands of dollars for people to cross the border. So apparently they had gotten this refrigerated truck and crammed people on it. Again, 50 died. So let's assume it's way more than 50 that were in there, because I think maybe almost a dozen survived. So like 60, over 60 people crammed into a refrigerated truck that wasn't refrigerated, and that was a problem. Those things are very highly insulated to hold in the code, but if there's no code, it's going to hold any heat. So people started dying. And I hate to be one of the persons on the scene for that. It must have been a nightmare for them too, as well as, of course, the people who just died in the most terrible way inside the back of that truck. But the cartels don't care. They just want the money. And to be honest, it seems like the Biden admin doesn't care either about what happens to these people. It's just a terrible, an avoidable situation that's going on at the border. Biden hasn't even visited the border, not once. He's never been near it. And Kamala, she kind of laughs the whole thing off, as you'll soon see. Well, all right. Let me just get to the video real quick, because like I said, it's just terrible.
This is breaking news from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
That breaking news in San Antonio, Texas, where 46 people believed to be migrants were discovered dead tonight from heat packed inside of a tractor-trailer rig. Another 16 people, including 4 kids, were taken to the hospital, overheated and dehydrated. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is confirming that this is a suspected case of human smuggling over the border from Mexico. The grim discovery was made tonight on a remote back road in southwest San Antonio after a city worker heard a cry for help.
Came out to investigate, found a trailer with the doors partially open, opened them up to take a look, and found a number of deceased individuals inside.
Migrants seeking refuge is always a humanitarian crisis, but tonight we are dealing with a horrific human tragedy.
No water was found inside the trailer. 3 people were taken into custody, but it's not yet clear how they were connected to the scene. This would be the deadliest tragedy among people who have risked their lives trying to cross into the U.S. from Mexico in recent decades.
Yeah, so that's the news story. It's actually 50 now. It was 46 when I got up this morning, so I found that recording earlier. It's up to 50. It might even be more at this time. I haven't checked it recently, since there are like 16 people in the hospital in intensive care. Again, this was entirely avoidable. The border was not like this just a few years ago. No one's being enticed to come across the border. But that's what's been happening, and people have been paying attention. People from other countries, they know when the administration changed over to Biden that it'd be a lot easier to get here. Easier in one sense that you would get flown all around. Once you got here, there was promises of free Medicare and Medicaid, and they were throwing around like free tuition. So they're enticing them to come here. But the terrible thing about it is it's summertime, it's hot. There's a desert between Texas and Mexico. So to cross to cross the desert, it takes quite a bit. It takes experience, and if you don't, you're going to die. I've read stories about ranchers who found dead bodies on their land. I mean, good Lord, your own country can't keep people from trying to cross your private property, and then you find bodies on top of it. But ranchers have complained that they wake up and see strangers crossing their property. There have been dead bodies found, and that's because the Biden administration, for some ungodly reason, is trying to entice people to come over here. It doesn't make any sense because he's losing the Hispanic vote. Parts of Texas that were once blue for like decades have turned red because the Hispanic people who are born and raised here, they don't like seeing people jump line. I'm from an immigrant family too, but my family came here legally, and I can tell you, legal immigrants don't like it when people jump line when it took them 10 years to get naturalized and become citizens. So you're not winning over the Hispanic community. So I really don't know what the long-term plan is. But again, they are enticing people to come here. And again, with a desert to cross, it's almost like you're setting up a swimming pool or a playground across the street from like a busy high-speed highway, and on the other side is like a school. You're trying to get the kids, the elementary school, trying to get them to cross the street over to your swimming pool and your amusement park, and they're getting hit by cars. You should be responsible for those deaths if you're the person that's enticing these people to risk their lives to come over. And again, I'm placing that squarely on Biden and the Democrats.
Tonight, we're with the U.S. Border Patrol near El Paso, where agents tell us migrant crossings are nonstop. They find this group of men from Brazil and Mexico.
Here along the border between Juarez and New Mexico, border agents say they're already seeing numbers of migrants crossing that's expected to surpass last year's record high. What that means is the need to quickly process and move migrants out of this area is more critical than ever.
Last month, there were over 234,000 illegal border crossings, the highest monthly total ever recorded. Even with the COVID border restriction known as Title 42 still in place, the majority of those migrants were released into the U.S.
Sources have told NBC News is that the sum could be significant. It could be hundreds of thousands of dollars each, which, of course, could amount to hundreds of millions of dollars if all of the families who were separated by this policy are included. It's also important to note that this is separate and distinct from the reunification effort that's underway and being led by the Biden administration.
You see, so they were paying them if they came here, $450,000 to $900,000 if they felt that they were treated poorly by the Trump administration when they got there. Not under Biden, but under Trump. So they were going to pay, and it has happened in some cases, where they paid out illegal immigrants $900,000 because of whatever tragedy or trauma they went through to while they were here in custody under Trump administration. Makes you wonder, what are they going to do for the next of kin for the 50 that just died under the Biden administration. Just utterly ridiculous. But this is why we're having these problems, because people are seeing videos like this and they see what the United States is promising them, and I can't blame them for wanting to come here. I would do the same thing.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
And now you see that they have, again, people around the world have seen this. They are promising free medical care for undocumented illegal immigrants, which is just, again, you're enticing them, you're inviting them to come here. So again, not their fault, and they're dying in the desert because they believe all this stuff. They believe these campaign promises, and hey, they might be right. Biden might find some way to expand Medicare for these, people who don't really belong here, because the man doesn't care. He really does. He doesn't care about the American citizens who are here already or working hard. He doesn't care about the people dying in the desert to get here. He just wants power. And it's not just him, because you can see there are about 17 people with their hands up. It's their entire party that's geared for this. This is what they want. They want power. They don't care about the people.
Let me start with you, Mayor Buttigieg. Why?
And this next one is where the Department of Homeland Security secretary is being grilled, and you're going to see how he doesn't know what's going on, nor does he care. He's just going to be lying and backpedaling while he's being questioned here. It just shows how little they care about what's going on.
Thank the Chairman. Mr. Secretary, there have been over 1 million plus individuals put into proceedings or released into the United States on your watch. I've asked multiple Border Patrol personnel, not the union, mind you, if we double, triple, quadruple the CBP budget, would that 1 million release go down? And they categorically said no, it would go up. Do you agree, yes or no?
I'm not sure I understand your question, Congressman. With the
With the number of people being released in the United States under current law, would it go down no matter how much you increased your budget? And it would not. As they said, do you agree, yes or no?
Congressman, if I understand your question correctly, when individuals are in the United States and they make a claim for asylum,
the number would not go down is the answer, right? Yes or no? That's what they said, and I think you just answered it. It would not go down. The only plan that you offer, the plan you just offered, is to process aliens faster and encourage more to come. We know that to be true. I know it's true. You know it's true. Cartels know it's true, and people around the world know it's true, and that's why people are coming.
See, and that's the deal right there. I'm not going to show Kamala, because it's just her saying she hasn't been to the border. She did go somewhere near it once, but she hasn't been back since, and Biden's never been there. They don't care. It's a joke for them. Just showing the Secretary of Mayorkas lying about it, that the border isn't open and that he's not encouraging people to come across. He could say all he wants to say, but the numbers just show that he's a liar. The numbers have gone up. More people are coming here. Like I said, 1 million have already been brought into the country. If he was doing his job, that wouldn't happen. Again, I'm just baffled as to why the Biden administration is doing this, because I don't see any immediate benefits. But then again, I don't think he knows what's going on too much. I really can't say. So it's just a big fat mystery to me. But more people are going to die. Summer's, it's July's coming up. It's going to only be hotter. People are not just going to die at the border. There are people who are going to die of fentanyl, who continue to die. And we know where that's coming from China, and it's coming through the southern border. There are people who say that the fights in Chicago aren't just by happenstance, not just for nothing. There are drug wars because of the fentanyl that's coming across the border that's making its way to Chicago, and people are killing themselves over that. So this administration is just failing at every point, and I don't know, it must seem like it's intentional at this point. You just can't fail this bad and lead to this much death, and it's not intentional. If anyone has any theory as to what else could be, leave your comment. But I'm kind of done with this one. It's just hard to wrap my head around. I just don't know the motive for all of this. But I pray for the families of the dead. I am so sorry. What a horrible way to have your loved ones go, to be like baked in the back of a truck. That's inhuman. People shouldn't die that way. But that's my comment on this. What's yours? Like, share, comment, and subscribe.